Hello and welcome back to this week's edition of the Crypto Chronicle Podcast. Taylor, how are we going?
Much better after a week hiatus. It was lovely.
Yes, we did have William on last week. I did forget our special guest. We did miss you though.
Oh, look, it was lovely. It was actually really interesting listening to it and being like, well, that's not my voice.
And listening to Wilbur's boring voice as opposed to your beautiful, sexy one.
You're making me blush.
But we apologise to everyone because we're not downstairs as we promised. It's been 2 weeks of somewhat, but we are organising that room. There are curtains being raised. There are chairs being built.
If you hear any banging or swearing or anything like that, we apologise. There's busy worker bees downstairs. Thank you, Wilbur.
And then you'd know where Will is as opposed to being here. But that's being built. We will have that done hopefully by next week.
Yeah. It's going to be really special. So there's a lot of effort going in.
Exactly.
It takes a bit of time.
Mm-hmm. So we will get started with our beautiful ETF news, as always.
What's new? What's new?
The news is coming out of Harvest CEO. They're aiming to expand access to mainland China, so investors can access their spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs as well, Ether, given that they got those approved. But really, it's been kind of a sad story with Hong Kong ETF.
Order flow.
I think, as I mentioned, that it was a bit of a nothing burger because all of the Hong Kong traders and investors can access the American ones. They can trade on those stock exchanges, which have far less fees, I believe, than the Hong Kong ones, far more liquidity that I've mentioned. So it's actually, if you're a big Hong Kong investor and trader, you want to be on iBits one as opposed to Hong Kong ones for those very obvious purposes. So I think actually what's happened with the Hong Kong ones recently, if they had those very small minimal inflows, and then recently the bearish price action has meant like in 2 days, like all of the inflows got reversed and maybe sitting pretty dire. So I think it's pretty important that, for countries like Southeast Asian, like China and Japan, so like these countries in Southeast Asia that are very tech heavy, they're very innovative. It's important that we get liquidity coming from those areas and that America isn't the be all end all.
Exactly. I actually haven't looked at it, and it just literally spruiked to my mind just then, thinking of like, okay, so obviously when it comes to people looking at BTC, they're most likely going to the US, but has there been much order flow for ETH?
For the Ether ETF? No, not really. Yeah. And I think it's probably, I think there's been a futures one or maybe an Ether one that's existed in Europe as well for a long time. That's never really had anything drawn to it. But I think even an Ether ETF is hard to understand how much liquidity that would even get in the US.
Exactly.
And these big companies, whether they see it as worthy of something investing into like Bitcoin has been, because obviously Bitcoin's proponents aren't that it's a decentralized platform in which applications can be built on. Its main thing is, as a currency reserve or as a hedge against inflation.
Completely different utility debt behind it. Yeah, exactly.
Against debt. Whereas ETH doesn't have that, right? Like, it's not. There's not only 21 million forever. It's inflationary, in fact, at the moment. Proof of stake, when they moved to proof of stake from proof of work, the idea was deflationary, and it has been, but this recent upgrade has made it inflationary for the time being, for the first time since their move. So, like I said, it's very hard to determine whether people like Larry Fink, who maybe see Bitcoin as a hedge against maybe gold or even against, just making sure they've got exposure to just in case. But in saying that, they do obviously, I have seen them make comments. Kathy Wood, obviously, of 21Arc, which I'll talk about in a second, because they've actually removed their staking proposals from the Ethereum ETF plan. So they had a revised filing submitted on May 10. Obviously, May 23rd.
Was that at their request, or was that on behalf, like they just decided themselves to do that?
I think it was probably on... I proposed it was SEC feedback, and then they've gone and gotten rid of it.
Interesting.
But, they've deferred decisions. So May 24 is when it is. So I think it'll be the 25th Australian time. Yeah. But, obviously this optimism for this spot ETF is completely diminished. We've got the experts kind of saying, now it's a 30 to 35% chance. You and I have obviously always kind of been in the corner of Larry and BlackRock, because I think they're 596-1 or something. So this could take them to 596-2, which would be interesting. And obviously to see their reactions too, to see whether they just, apply again or...
This could be the catalyst.
Because it's a real hot topic at the moment, the SEC and even Biden and the Democratic Party. We've obviously seen Trump come out this week. Those in our community would have seen the videos of Trump coming out declaring, if you want crypto, then you're voting for me. If you want anything...
Let's vote him in.
It is... I do say to people before I make these comments is that, I'm not political. I don't have any allegiance where I'm left or right or liberal or Labor or Greens this, Greens that. It's obviously the same, in my opinion, the US. I think it's like voting for the lesser of two evils, right? But
100%. It's literally the devil you know versus the one you don't. That's all it is, yeah.
And I think they have well, if I had it my way, not that I know a heap, as I said, I think Robert Kennedy Jr. is very big on Bitcoin and very big on crypto, and he seems a bit more maybe level-headed than the other two.
Yeah, 100%.
Even though people do say he's a conspiracy theorist or whatever. But in any case, Trump, if you do want crypto, and crypto is your be-all, end-all, which I think if you were voting politically, maybe it shouldn't be. But in our case, you probably, Trump is the go-to card, and it's going to be interesting whether to see the Biden Democratic Party, whether they now go, shit, maybe we do need to get a bit. I don't think so.
I don't think he knows what the word is, let alone what the technology is.
But when you have people like Elizabeth Warren coming out and trying to do what she's doing, who, on behalf of the Dems, they have horrible stances at the moment on crypto, which are getting worse, mind you, and they're using the SEC as this enforcement tool pretty much to get what they want. And Mark Cuban came out yesterday. I don't know if you saw that. You probably did.
Yeah.
And he even mentioned about how it's a joke that the SEC is the organization used to protect. He was stating they haven't protected one investor yet. No. Since this crusade of them going, we need to protect investors, they're yet to protect one. All they're doing is something is happening, and 2 years later bringing out all this crap, and it's not helping. It's making things worse.
I'm just curious because, just put full blinders on in the sense of where we are in the market and whatnot. But FTX falls over. What has changed?
Yeah, not really anything. Other than them saying that you did this on our soil and give us $4 billion CZ.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. They've never protected anyone. They've just lined their pockets.
Yeah, and it's... Yeah, exactly.
Out of that $4 billion, have they paid anyone for their losses? Yeah, no. Have they tried to make any investors whole? Nothing. No.
So, it's all a bit of a shit show at the moment, even extending to TradeFi people like CEO Jamie Dillon of JP Morgan, which, I posted videos of him. I think I've seen Simon, funnily enough, post a fair bit about him on LinkedIn, trolling about him. But, JP Morgan disclosed their ownership of multiple spot Bitcoin ETF shares this week, totaling around... almost $1 million, I think, but they hold shares in the Bitcoin depot. Wells Fargo on the same day reported similar investments. So, they're disclosing that they're holding Bitcoin as an asset that they're exposing themselves to, obviously as a hedge, or I think maybe they just probably have some financial literacy. So they understand that Bitcoin's a good investment. Yeah. But, their CEO comes on every CNBC or whatever, Fox News, whatever it is, and says, how poison Bitcoin is. Well, you're the CEO of your own company that's investing in it and putting it on their balance sheet. So
if that's not the biggest bullish sign, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of bullish signs at the moment amongst the bearishness, and this is, we'll speak about it in the TA part, but it's really important from a psychological aspect to kind of understand what happens when we reach these points in the market, is that bearish news is almost good news, because that from every angle they're going to attack you at the highs. That's what happens in the market. Literally. If you remember the bear market, every time we did make one of those rallies, remember how much bad news had to come out at 30K?
Literally, it's so funny. You've said exactly what I literally said to a client this morning. Yeah. Saying this feels exactly like what we were at 30.
Yeah. Doesn't it?
We had 30 for 2-3 months, wasn't it? It was the most boring January after that New Year's. I remember coming back being like, oh my God, nothing's changed. Yeah. It feels, as much as it's only been maybe 20 days of this price action? Yeah. It feels exactly the same, that everyone's like, oh, I'm not really sure.
Yeah. We will speak on it more, but I think the main point is just hold in there. You have no other reason to sell other than just feeling bearish. Yeah. And the point being here is that, I don't know what altcoin to mention. A lot of them are down 40-50% from 3 months ago, but all of them are either up or gigantically up since October of last year, which is only 6 months ago, 7 months ago. As we've mentioned numerous times on this podcast, zoom out if you need help. You'll say, this month has sucked. You had 7 consecutive green months before that, which was a record.
Isn't it always sell in May and go away?
Yeah, usually. Yeah. Usually it is. So I think most people were actually, I've been somewhat wrong. Not wrong, because I think to end April and May, we're at 56K, weren't we? Was that on the, it was close to that. Yeah. Just roughly, towards the end of April. Yeah. So, we have improved in May, trading at 62, 63K now. We continue to chop, but I think it does get better from here. If you listen to me, I said how bearish April was. We had the war fears. We had tax payments that every company investor had to make. We had so many numerous bearish signals that, it just signified to me that naturally May would be better, and it has been. But the main point is hang in there, because this always happens at every part of bullish price action. As you said, you can go back to 30. I can go back to any form of rally we've made. And when it gets towards the top, there's always bearish news. It's just how it works.
Same when we went from like 16 to 20 and everyone's like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Alrighty, so let's quickly move on, because we'll come back to a bit more of that price action and how people are feeling and what to do moving forward. But in saying that, back to just Biden and essentially what's happening is he's trying to veto a resolution against regulation, which is crazy, which targeting crypto policy within the SEC. So essentially what I was saying before is people are trying to, really put out there that the SEC is doing, such bad things. And one of them was that the SEC is ensuring that banks don't include digital assets on their balance sheets they should, with the Republicans supporting the resolution, but Democrats opposing it, which is kind of weird to me, because it's kind of advocating almost fraud or somewhat. I don't know. It's all strange, and once again, it's just an attack on them trying to make things more difficult. I think that's the easiest way to look at it.
Is it just purely just like we have to be the other side because they've gone that side? Yeah, it feels like to me it's just like we can't agree at any point. It doesn't matter if it's about fraud or if it's about anything else. It's stupid.
Moving on to something slightly funnier.
Here we go.
But Samuel, our boy, we've had a few stories on him, obviously, throughout the Crypto Chronicle podcast, but he still proclaims his innocence and says he's, I probably should have apologized more.
That's good that he's learning.
But he now trades rice in jail. That's his number one thing he trades. He says that the rice is his currency in there. Which I'm finding hilarious, because he did just have his first media chat since August of 2023.
Who the hell is a media chat in prison? What is this?
And he was facilitated by his mother and Puck News, but he revealed that he's been eating a vegan diet, he's very bored, and he relies on rice as his prison currency. He did joke in the interview about trading opportunities, which I'm sure there's been multiple of him in Solana season, as we've mentioned. He's lost a ton of weight. He plans on an appeal, which is hilarious.
How long do you reckon until the prison people start starving because he's taken all their rice?
Soon.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of angry people there.
Just before he leaves, I reckon.
Anyways, we'll see how his appeal goes, because that'll be hilarious.
Oh, God.
But moving on to a different topic, I will quickly mention that those that want to check out El Salvador's Proof of Reserves website, they've now got one. I've just done a news article that I'll put in the Chronicle. Just kind of cool to see a nation,
pretty cool,
sovereign nation, put up publicly their entire reserves, which is valued at 360 million now.
They're buying one a month still, aren't they?
One a day.
One a day, sorry, that's right.
Yeah, one a day. Yeah. So, which is funny you mentioned that, because when I was writing the article this morning, like recently, random times I'd think about El Salvador and I'd go, I wonder if they're still doing that, or whether he just did that for a year. And then when I was writing the article and I looked online and I could see the purchase, I went, they're actually still doing it. They've done this whole time. So even at 73K, they were just buying one Bitcoin that day.
How much money you reckon they've made off it now? Like, they would have done
I think Their average Bitcoin price is now 43,000. So a fair bit.
That's good.
Which is 50, close to 60 million in unrealized profit just from buying a Bitcoin every day. Well, we always talk about the dollar cost average strategy, don't we? And we talk about that in the light of doing it when prices are low, but this shows you that these people do it when prices are high, low, medium, sideways, and they're still earning this amount of profit on Bitcoin.
Put it, if you do it over numerous years,
just say, imagine if you bought one Bitcoin every day from 2016.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
You probably have, an average buy of around probably 15 to 20,000. So,
exactly.
Awesome to see them. There's been this conspiracy little theory wallet that buys, I think it buys 50 Bitcoin every day for the last 2 years, 3 years. And everyone's like, whose wallet is this? Is it just some sovereign nation that
how did you find me?
It's just going to be is it just going to be one day, some other Southern American countries are like, that's us, and we've just been buying it as global reserve. But anyways, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I was going to
say, you can't be an individual, really.
No. Oh,
Bill Gates.
Maybe Sailor's personal wallet or something.
Sailor's personal wallet.
But I do want to move on to a little meaty part of the
meatier than
podcast.
50 Bitcoin a day. That's impressive.
Well, it's because everyone here probably remembers, if you were in the last cycle, you would have remembered GameStop, GME, the huge short squeeze that occurred in the trade fine market kind of around that mid 2021 time where we just had all-time highs on Bitcoin. It'd obviously come back. Then we were resurging to new highs towards November when we made our 69,000 all-time high. But essentially that was a huge frenzy online. It was this huge thing where tons of people squeezed out a ton of hedge funds and TradeFi people. And really this infamous trader behind it, Roaring Kitty, so who's Keith Gill. He'd made $50 million on the short. Who's pretty much the prime driver of it, the influence of everyone kind of buying up GameStop to squeeze all the hedge funds. And he hadn't logged into he hadn't actively done anything on Twitter since June of 2021 when he cashed out and everything happened. No one had heard from him since. And then yesterday he posted kind of that infamous leaning forward with the controller meme to insinuate that, I don't know, he's back or it's game time and it's time to squeeze GameStop. But had a 34% rally in 24 hours just because of that tweet, and I think it's up over 100% in the last 2 days, and maybe up 200% in the last 2 weeks. So everyone's kind of, with Roaring Kitty back, there was a Solana-based GameStop meme coin that surged over 600%, AMC token 1,200%. And even, major meme coins, Dogecoin, Shiba, Pepe, if you looked at all those from yesterday, they're all up, especially Pepe made new all-time highs. And, pretty much what happened here is associated meme stocks is what they call them. The meme stocks is GameStop and AMC. AMC was up 25% post-market, I think, just as a result of GME being up. So it's been a crazy 24 hours in that sense, and it kind of takes me to my next topic, which is meme coins, because I feel like meme coins, most people don't invest in them or look at them wrong and invest in the wrong ones and lose. When 99% of people do lose on meme coins, but I want to differentiate Bluechip meme coins from meme coins. And when I say Bluechip, I mean your meme coins like a Doge with Pepe, these real standalone ones that are in multi-billions that have these huge followings, these huge communities. And I guess it's fine for people to say memes are stupid. They get angry that they take all the liquidity from the important projects such as, whatever it is, Phantom or Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Definitely XRP. That's what they're complaining about.
Most probably haters of meme coins are XRP holders from 2017, yes.
Yeah. We need that liquidity to fight our legal battles.
Literally. But, they serve as a kind of hugely powerful catalyst for engagement, driving community enthusiasm and kind of fostering this sense of, belonging amongst investors, because the coolest thing about meme coins is you don't have to understand them. You can be Black, white, Asian, live in South America, live in America, be Mitch in Melbourne, and you can get in these meme coins in these communities, and it's this crazy sense of memes and telegrams and discords and spaces online. And really, as I was even speaking to our salespeople yesterday about it, and I was explaining, it's almost the purest form of decentralization, a lot of them, particularly coins like WIF that had their dev Jeet at the start and it was a community takeover. So there is not one person that runs WIF. WIF is WIF. That's it. It's a currency of the Solana blockchain initially, and it's WIF. That's it. And it's a similar notion with Dogecoin. If you read back on the history of the Dogecoin founder that sold all of his Doge at the start for a Toyota Corolla or something. So the complete founder and owner of the most Doge sold out at the start. It was the same as WIF. It was the same as a lot of these coins. So the whole price aspect is pure demand and supply. It's not like a Matic token where the foundation has this ton of treasury that needs to dump Matic tokens to pay for something, to pay their employees. It's not a centralized entity.
It's so much more simplistic.
It's so much more simplistic. And as I said, the most important thing to me about them is their accessibility to a diverse range of investors, including, those that may be new to cryptocurrencies. I feel like it's the easiest one to understand for new people, right? Is because it's not like, you've had this conversation, you would have had this conversation a million times over. You try and explain Bitcoin to someone. It's very hard, isn't it?
It's very much.
So I think it's awesome for that sense as well. Its ability to onboard new people to crypto. If you probably ask 99% of people, like, besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, what's the other, name me another cryptocurrency, they'll go Dogecoin or WIF, because it's just, I see these funny videos online. I don't know if there's this guy that walks around, I think it was in Paris or something, and he walks up to people who don't really know crypto that well, and he goes, this is Arbitrum and this is Doge, this is WIF, this is dog with hat. Like, if you had to pick one, which would you pick? And they go, that dog one. And they're always pointing to dog with hat. And he goes, oh, why? He goes, because there's a cute little dog. It looks awesome. Like, exactly, I want to be part of that one.
It's marketability. It's the same, like, if you think about it, like the way that I compare it nowadays when someone asks me, like, what's with this whole meme coin craze? It's the same with, like, when you think back to, like, 21, 22, and everyone was like, the metaverse.
Yeah.
The metaverse is going to be the next big thing. And it's just like, well, where is it now?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just gone. Like, it's pointless.
Mark
Everyone's
Zuckerberg,
like,
we thank you for killing
I'm not going to live in a world that doesn't exist. And So memes have sort of taken over that whole, like, I'm a part of something in community, which is exactly what you're saying.
And it makes sense, doesn't it? Because it kind of, it's like a democracy of cryptocurrency investment where, like, it attracts a broader audience. It's not just select investors of different parts of crypto that, are trading on coins. It's the market demand for them makes so much sense when you kind of spell it out in your own head, because it's retail, it's people like me and you, it's institutional investors, it's people that want to make money on clean, sound charts. And funnily enough, I made these comments this morning when I sent out a few setups for them. But in the past, to my day traders, I've traded Doge for years because it is so pure demand and supply. It's got the cleanest technical charts you can trade, because it's all market psychology. It's all people, buying and selling, and it's awesome. Like, it's honestly awesome to trade. And as I said, it's different to a different coin where a foundation can just dump, 1% of the supply because they need to pay their yearly bills. And
it's the same. Literally, I was looking at a chart the other day, like a meme, and it was like, if you traded Doge at the same time Elon tweeted. And so it's like, if you just did the exact same time he tweets every time, you'd be up. I think it was like 1,400%.
Yeah. So
exactly.
And it's important to mention Doge as well, and Elon, because in the Trading Academy, we hold Dogecoin from, I think, 5 cents, where we bought it in June of 2022. And my reasoning back then wasn't actually around the meme craze. If you go back and Trading Academy members, you read my post, it was purely because of Elon. I said, I'm exposing, because remember, Trading Academy is what I do. And my reasoning for it is, I'm not an idiot. I understand how crypto works. I understand how speculation works. I understand how demand works. If the richest person on the planet aligns himself and says that Doge is his favorite cryptocurrency, he tweets about it, he offers it up to his merchandise on Tesla, he sends a bloody rocket ship to Mars with the Doge in it, whatever, I'm going to expose myself to that, plain and simple, because he hasn't tweeted about it in a long time. There will become a time in the peak of the bull run, he is as egotistic as anyone. He does it because he gets so much popularity out of it.
That's the whole point. It's a marketing opportunity for him, and it's also a capitalization standpoint. It's exactly.
And so he loves it. So there'll come a point in time where Dogecoin's gone up, 2x, 3x. He sees that and he'll go Dogecoin to the moon or something, and it'll do 5x. Like,
he'll literally just take dog.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
He'll post a photo of his dog,
or just be post a photo of a moon.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it doesn't matter. He'll do anything.
Exactly. So, tying it back in, if we do get meme stocks beginning to fly, GME, as we spoke about, if there's this sense of, once again, that this is going to be this kind of meme land where I just thought, like, my point being here is, if meme stocks sort of, rally from here, meme coins will run harder in crypto.
Yeah.
And, we've kind of had, in the last month, for those that probably know a lot about Twitter, we had GCR, which I mentioned, who's probably the most infamous crypto trader that there is, come back and say, it's time to bid, don't get shaken out. We've had the Roaring Kitty, who's probably the most infamous TradeFi Twitter trader in history, say, insinuate that he's back and it's time to play. I'm not going to put my investing thesis down to two people being confident, but should give you some more confidence at least.
I feel like you've given us confidence.
I'm glad. So I guess what I wanted to touch on, if you are interested in memes and you want a non-financial advice opinion on them, I would steer clear of all these crap. Like, there's so much crap out there. That's the issue that why memes get a bad run, is because 99.9% of rugs or even racist, some of them. Like,
do not go on Dex Screener or anything like that. You're just on Jupiter or whatever it is.
So my non-financial advice is, if you want to get involved and you do hold the same opinion as me, that we will see in an alt season memes outperform, which I do think for now. I am worried that right now we are in kind of a distribution phase on them. A lot of them are coming lower besides Pepe as BTC consolidates. The thing that you need to 100% know about meme coins is they run the hardest on pumps, but they also dump the hardest on dumps. You'll even see this with Doge, especially with and Pepe. That's all-time highs now. If we begin to really dump, you'll see them crash a lot harder than others, because the people that are in them, as I said, retail, they're a bit more paper handy, aren't they?
Yeah, right? They'll get out quick.
And they might be paying with a lot less money, so it's just blah, 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 blah. Anyways, my blue chips for this cycle is definitely Whiff on Solana, Dogecoin being its own layer one, and obviously Pepe, which Pepe is a really interesting one that's making all-time highs because it's the meme of Ethereum, and Ethereum is doing sweet nothing. So my thought process is here, if Ethereum does begin to rocket, which it seems like it never will at this stage, if I'm honest.
That fuse just never gets lit.
Yeah, because Pepe's up 15% today, let's say. Ethereum is down 0.5%. So my thought process here is, what actually happens to Pepe when Ethereum pumps 10% in a day? It'll probably fly. So definitely one to watch there. They're probably my three blue chip ones, with Whiff probably being my favorite. But
I'm amazed there's no camel one that you've created yet.
True. I probably should.
Yeah.
Once the structure of the camel is fully complete, I will definitely do that. But if you're interested in base and you want to get exposed there, Toshi and Brett are two good ones. BTC is interesting because I think it's a lot of vapor at the moment, and Pups has been a bit sad. But Pups and Wizards, and there should be more to come. There's obviously Shiba Inu. I don't really like it, but it's the Doji killer, but you can't kill Doge. So there's Floki, and there's a ton more on Sol. You've got Slurp, Popcat, Mew, Bone, Bonk. So whatever your favorites are out there, hit us back. Mine are with Pepe and Doge. Maybe I'm a bit boring because I go the multi-billion-dollar ones that people will probably reply saying, not going to make anything on them. We'll wait and see. But let us know in the comments your favorite meme coins. I think we'll get a few funny ones come in, even if they're the political ones. So I don't know if you've seen the Marga coin. You've obviously heard of Bowden, I hope, on Solana. Bowden's a multi-$100 million meme coin, maybe at 500 mil MC, which is funny because it's all based on Bowdenomics, and you should see all the memes they make. They're these hilarious memes of Biden. But maybe, special play is parking yourself in Tremp, which is the opposite one to Bowden, or in one of the Trump coins, because if he wins the election and the memes outperform, we'll come back to this clip in 6 months. I
literally just imagined in my head when you said Trump, I'm like, because I haven't seen this done. It's not my area of interest per se, but I'm literally just thinking of Trump as a slug.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll send you it after.
Yeah, please.
I'll include the photo of Bowden and of Trump in the written Crypto Chronicle for us all.
Oh, God.
But we'll quickly round up with just a tiny bit of TA. Honestly, there's not much to say. I did want to speak a bit more on psychology, but maybe we'll do that next week with price action unraveling after CPI, which was on Thursday morning for us at 5 a.m., which is usually Wednesday night open market time for US. Hugely important because the market is at a standstill right now because of liquidity and the macro outline, which is at the moment people are tossing whether they're going to actually cut rates at all this year, or whether they're actually inflation, which is CPI, comes in on Thursday. And if it reads hotter than usual, this indicates that they're going to keep rates where they are, or potentially even hike one more time, which would be kind of bearish for the markets. That's pretty much what will happen. I personally am completely deleveraged out of leverage trades. I closed the Solana trade yesterday or the day before. Maybe not. If we have bottomed out, it's the wrong move, but I just want to be kind of risk-free, kind of heading into an event like CPI where, if it comes in 0.1%, 0.2% hotter, we get those real vicious wicks down.
I was going to say, you get a 2 to 5 grand wick.
Exactly. It's not worth my stress or anything. So I'm happy to just chill and then go from there. And from there, I'll definitely be planning some spot buying and leverage trades after that, because, getting getting that indication of what that inflation is should probably tell you where we'll land next.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it comes in below expectations, it's very bullish and we should rally a bit hotter. Don't freak out too much. It has been a bit hotter the last few times and we've kind of just held.
Yeah.
But I'll plan some support levels in the written chronicle for us that you can look into if we do dip a bit lower. But all plans for me are the same. All high time frame charts remain pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Once again, it's just with that period of the market where, you know, we've even spoken like so many times about how that 90-day rule post halving. I do say that, you know, it's not best to base everything off prior cycles, but I definitely think the kind of low crabbish volume post halvings is very clear even right now, as it has been with last ones, because it's obvious, right? Everyone gets a bit of hype towards the halving. We rally into the halving a bit. Everyone talks about it and kind of everything just dies off, right? So it makes sense. And then interest picks up a bit later. And hopefully that kind of falls in line with liquidity coming back into the system.
Yeah, very much.
And whatnot. So don't cheat out. Don't lose interest here. And then buy back much higher. Because
sit on your hands.
Yeah. But that's what I guarantee you, if you're listening to this right now and you are that person that has sold out recently and listening to me say this, you will buy back higher. It's just human nature. Mining. Give us the rundown.
Mate, mining's actually very similar to what you've just said right then and there.
Yeah.
Everything's obviously very sit on your hands because it's not looking amazing, but it's not looking terrible.
Yeah. And so just quickly normal. On that, something I'll ask you, is that mainly due to fees? Obviously, fees were so high though. I meant it's a bit less lucrative because of runes and how significantly the activity is declining.
Yeah, like definitely to a degree that's obviously helps, you know, push it down further, but it's just more or less like price action, like where we're in a position, to be honest, which I thought we were going to be in.
Yeah.
Like I didn't expect fees to stay.
Yeah.
They will pick back up, but I didn't think they were going to stay.
Yeah.
So it's something that like it's not really news to many or me really, but it's just obviously that really impatient nature that we all have of going, why are we still where we are?
Yeah.
So, you know, if I've spoken to you over the last 12 months, where we are right now is still much better than where I thought we were going to be.
Yeah.
You know, usually when it comes to a post-halving impact on mining, 2 to 3 months of negative.
Yeah.
Usually you're struggling to float, stay above water and so forth. Most are at least breaking even, making a little or just losing a little. It's just a wait out game. You know, sit tight. Look at, if you're in the VIP Telegram, you would have seen this morning I sent out something and it shows obviously where we are now in comparison to every other cycle, and we're literally on the same par.
Yeah. And I think it's important to do that, isn't it? Because you might think that, you know, 70,000 USD is a really huge price, but you would have been thinking the same at 20,000 last time before we went to 65,000 that first time. And there's no putting a cap on what our all-time high will be this cycle, but I've got a fair bit of conviction. Obviously, ideas and theses can be invalidated, but the current top we just put in should not be our top for this cycle. Whether that means this year or later in 2025, depending on which cycle we're in. But yeah, definitely seems that way, doesn't it? Between both investing in Bitcoin and miners at the moment, it's just that period where you just need to get through and really sit on your hands.
This
and then
is kind of where we shake it out
later.
Huh? You know what I mean? It's like shaking the tree.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
pretty normal.
And it happens every time. We said this before. On every rally you go back, it's nature of the beast. We rally, people take profits, the market gets a bit boring, we trade sideways. And it's just so important to understand that in every other cycle, we pull back so much harder. We're yet to, the harshest pullback we've had in this bull run is 20%, which was that 48 to 38K one. Maybe actually probably has been greater than 12,
to 60 or not, 59 to 60, whatever. It was 20.4 as well.
Okay, so it's just a bit over 20%. In prior ones, we've had, you know, COVID was over 50%.
Yeah.
Cycle before that was over 30%. So, as you said, it's all very much the same, even just a bit better. So,
well, and that's to be honest, that leads to the next one. Like we're wanting to make sure, particularly when it comes to even the trading and the mining, people understand like sitting back and doing nothing now is great if you've made the right choices, but you've also got to live with those choices if you haven't done something.
And I think it's the main point I've been getting across in the Trading Academy, haven't I? As I've said, I know some people would feel frustrated that I'm not actively investing or I'm actively trading. It's because it's the wrong time to do it. We're going to get a real easy signal of direction soon, but trying to trade in this chop in the middle where we might go back to 56,000 and we might go up to 70,000 and then back to 60, and you're just so upset with yourself because you're like, I bought Phantom the other day, why is it down more than it was when BTC was it's just one of those periods where yeah, like you said, if you've done the work in early 2022, early 2023, late 2023, just sit on your hands. Prices will get better. If you're one of those people that missed out and then we were at 74,000 and you thought, I can't believe I haven't bought enough. Oh no, we're going to rally and we've had this pullback and you're not buying right now, you're going to seriously regret it. Right now is the time to, as we've said, dollar cost average. You put a little bit in. You can then go from there. If we head lower, add more. If we break out, great. You've already got some and you can choose to add higher if you want.
It's the same as mining, man. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to wait because Bitcoin's going to drop by 1,000 or 5,000.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything to the miner price.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing at all. Like it doesn't do anything. Yeah. So now is still a time for people to get involved. So make sure that you don't regret it in 12 months' time.
And it's really important. I'll just say one more comment because I remember it so distinctively and thinking it's so true. It's like it's the same when we're at 22,000. It's like everyone saying, no, I'm going to buy it at 20,000. We're going. Do you think the people that bought at 21,000 with price at 63,000 cared about it, whether or not it went to 19,000? No. That's a 10% difference in price of what could be 600% gain, 300 to 600% gains. And that's them just being more conservative and safer, and they didn't have to run the risk of missing out in total because I guarantee there were people when they didn't want to buy Bitcoin at 16,000. We then briefly rallied to 17, 18,000 in that December of 2022. They would have said to themselves, it's okay, we'll do one more retest of 14, 15,000 or maybe 12,000. I'll buy all my Bitcoin then. And then by the end of January that month, we're at 25K, I think. And they've missed almost a 2x move.
Well, it's the same as now. Like I was looking just then when I sent that a message out, and it's like looking at obviously that breakdown of where we are versus where we could be. We like the price action post halving has been excessively fast. Within 3 months, we could be at 150K.
Yeah.
So like,
and it's one of those price actions.
Conviction's everything.
Yeah, and I've said it in a couple of groups, but it's that type of price action at the moment where it's up and down, it's up and down, it's up and down. But we're going to have that day eventually where we get a $15,000 candle, and I'm not joking. You'll blink and you'll miss it, and you'll go to bed and you'll wake up and instead of 63,000 or whatever it is, instead of 70,000, we're 85,000 the next morning, and everyone is chasing, everyone is buying higher, and it just creates this really hated rally that happens in every bull market that I personally think we're yet to see. So
the biggest candle we had was $5,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Roughly 5,
We've definitely had 10K weekly candles. So I reckon that period we were in low 50s, we went straight up to 60s. Like because that's why there's barely been any of that support when we've kind of come back.
We went from sort of 52, 53 right up very quick to 58 area.
You know, we traded a few hours. Like if you go to the hourly chart, you'll see a few candles. If you go to the daily chart, there's no candle there. It's just straight up. So I think that probably would be it. But anyways, this has been an insanely long podcast, mind you. I've just looked at the clock. It's almost 38 minutes. So
perfect.
We usually go for 25, 30, but hopefully the discussion's been worth it. If you have stayed till the end or you did stay for the meme part, please comment on the YouTube or on the shorts, whether that's TikTok or YouTube shorts. Let us know your favorite memes or maybe even any other narratives that you want us to speak on next week. I chose memes this week because of just GameStop was the, the thing on the market. But, next week we can discuss AI, potentially our favorite AI projects, or even if it's, we've mentioned RWAs on here, even if it's layer 1s, layer 2s, oracles. Give us a topic, we'll discuss a few favorite projects of ours and use it as discussion.
Sounds good.
No worries. Alrighty, thanks guys. We'll see